My name is Roosmarijn, and I'm the founder of Surf Spirit. Surf Spirit is there to help you boost your confidence in the water. It is there to help you overcome any mental blocks that you have, so that your surfing performance can improve. In this video, we're going to talk specifically about fear. I'm going to explain to you what fear is, how it works in the body and in the mind, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks how to overcome fear in the water. First, let's talk about fear. Fear is an automatic response from the body. It is a kind of stress response, as you say. It is very primal. It's like we're seeing that tiger in pastimes, and the body is responding, the adrenaline is pumping. We're getting ready to escape the tiger, ideally. Or maybe, depending on our body, we paralyze and we stand still and we freeze and we don't know what to do. Fear is something that happens automatically. This is important to know. And it is based on what we have experienced in the past. So the first time I was surfing was when I was 13, and I was actually kind of thrown in the water by some local guys in Panama. I was being given a shortboard and they said, "Hey, good luck." And I got a massive wave on top of me. I panicked, I climbed back in the boat and I waited for the rest of the guys to be done. I didn't surf for another 5 or 6 years. In hindsight, such a pity, because I just didn't know how to overcome this fear. And the fear stayed with me until I started working with it. So fear is a response of the body based on what we have experienced in the past. Sometimes the fear seems very irrational. It can be that there's past lives in which you have experienced something related to water. You will feel this inside of your system when I say this. It can be that the fear in this life doesn't really make sense, but actually it does, because it's based on some of the things that you have experienced before this life. Either way, the body responds. The body responds as if it's in that threatening situation again. Sometimes there's little things needed, like the first time when I dislocated my shoulder, it was raining. So whenever there's rain, this response gets activated a little bit again. My muscles get more tight and I'm not playing the tennis in the same way as I can without rain. So all these different things that were happening at this moment that the fearful thing happened can trigger a fear response in the body. I'm going to ask you to stop for a second and to write down the fear that you have, the main fear that you get confronted with in the water. Grab a pen, grab a paper and write that fear down. Stop the video if you need. And also write down the things in the environment that trigger that fear. Is it high waves? Is there a lot of people in the water? Is it cloudy, misty, windy? What are the conditions where the fear gets triggered? Great, now that you have that clear for yourself, let's look at fear. So, in essence, it's a stress response in the body. It's a stress response in the body, and as a consequence, it's also a stress response in the mind. The body can show different things. There can be a dilution of the eyes, we have less focus. We can get tense in the muscles. The blood can start pumping, the heart rate goes up. In the most extreme cases, our breathing gets more shallow and we can start shaking. That is when it really goes towards a panic attack, but that's quite extreme. It might be something that you have experienced also in the water. As a response of the body being in panic and being in fear, the mind goes, what's going wrong, what's going wrong, what's going wrong? I'm not safe, I'm not safe, I'm not safe. And as a response of that, the body responds even more intensely. So before you know it, and maybe you recognized it, you're in a loop. And the fear gets more and more and more, and you are still in the water. Not the safest place to be when you're in a fearful situation. So I'm gonna ask you again to grab your pen and paper and write down what are the responses in your body that happen when you get scared. And what are the responses and the thoughts inside of your mind? For example, shaking hands, less focus, but also thoughts like, I'm stupid, I can't do this is scary. Remember last time? Write down all these thoughts and try not to filter. Now that we have that clear, it's probably pretty clear that a loop gets triggered quite easily. The next question is, how can we break that loop? Because that loop is based on the past. I'm going to repeat that, it's based on the past. It is not serving you in this situation, because in this situation it's a completely new situation and you don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know is that you are better off when you're mostly quiet, relaxed, and enjoying yourself in the water. So how can we help you in that way, in that moment, to create more relaxation, more enjoyment, and all this stuff in the water? Well, we need to break the loop. And we can break it in two places. We can break it at the area of the body, and we can break it at the area of the mind. Different people have different access points. So it's a matter of experimentation. I'm going to give you a few tools to experiment with in the water. I advise you to write down the tools and to see which tool works for you. And the way you can do this is to give a number to your fear next time in the water. Let's say you're in the water, you notice you're being scared, you recognize these symptoms that you have written down from before, and you're giving a fear a number. You're saying, okay, my fear based on a scale from 0 to 10, it's a 7 right now. Then hopefully you remember this video, you remember the tool that you resonated with most. You're gonna try that tool out, and after that tool, you're checking in with yourself again. You're gonna rate the fear once again. What's the number that you give the fear at that moment? Based on this, you can take account for yourself which method works. Because I cannot give you one method, because I want you to find the method that works for you. So let's start with the methods of the mind. I'm gonna make some more videos specifically about this, but I'm gonna explain them to you shortly in this video. One of the first ways is to do reframing. That means the thoughts that you have written down, we can have a look at whether they're helpful. So have a look at your paper and check whether these thoughts are helpful. Most probably they're not so helpful. That means that we can work towards a thought that is actually helpful. So we can reframe the mind, we can change the thought, in a way that is serving us. So let's say your thought was, hey, remember that last surf session? It went so shitty. You can help your mind and say, hey, remember that surf session last week that went so well? So again, I'm gonna give you a moment and I'm gonna ask you to reframe these thoughts that you have written on paper. So have a look at these thoughts and see how you can frame them in a way that they're actually serving you. That means that you want to use positive phrases. You don't want to make it non-real. You don't have to do something fake, but you can create a real situation. Another example, hey, there's a lot of people in the water. There's a lot of good surfers to watch and to learn from in the water. So have a look at these thoughts and reframe them in a way that they're positive and in a way that they work for you. If you learn to do this more and more, you will actually already start doing it the moment that thought gets popped in your mind. And you can already reframe it and that thought loses its power. So the more you practice with this, the quicker you get in reframing the thoughts and the more positive your mind can be in the water. Another tool that you can use for the mind is visualization. This tool is a little bit more tricky in the water unless you're in a situation where you can kind of go to the side and you can take some time for yourself. Otherwise, I advise you to try this when you're out of the water. So you can take a little break at that moment that you feel the fear rising and you can go to the beach and you can visualize. And visualization I will explain more about in another video, but visualization means that we create an image of something very positive, of a very positive surf session. And when we do that, the body and the mind actually start believing that you are experiencing that surf session at this very moment. That means that you can rewrite the situation. So when you go out of the water and you're experiencing fear in the water, think back of a surf session where you were extremely confident. As a matter of fact, you can pause the video if you like again, and you think of that surf session right now. Think back of the last surf session where you felt extremely confident inside the water, where you felt like you were in control, you might have been tested or challenged, but you were responding in a way that was very, very well. And try to remember this situation as accurately as possible. Try to bring back all the details of this situation. Who you were with, what was happening, what you were feeling inside of the body, what your preparation was, how you were surfing. Ideally, you even see yourself surfing or you feel yourself surfing. People visualize in different ways. Some people visualize like they are experiencing the situation from inside their body. Other people visualize as if they are experiencing or seeing themselves experience the situation. So they have more of an outsider perspective. Both are perfectly fine. So visualization is another great tool to stop the cycle of fear inside the mind. Let's shift to the level of the body. How can we stop the cycle of fear inside of the body? remember that the heart rate went up, adrenaline went up, cortisol went up. How can we allow the body to feel relaxed? Because the moment the body feels relaxed, the mind will create positive thoughts too. One of the best tactics that I like is breathing. A way to try is called box breathing. Box breathing means 4 seconds in, holding 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, holding 4 seconds. This is a very, very easy technique that you can even do in the water when you have 2 minutes to spare. Straight away you might notice your heart rate going down. We'll do a few together just for you to get the hang of it. So breathing in, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Just check in with yourself. Maybe you already feel more relaxed. You could probably hear the changes in my voice. You can probably see the changes in my face. And this was just with 3 rounds of box breathing. Another breathing method that works really well is belly breathing. That means inflating the belly completely as if it's a balloon and then exhalating it. What you want to do with belly breathing, and you can practice it this way, you put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and you only want the hand to move that is on top of your belly. So we are very used to breathing from the heart, from the throat, but we want to bring the breathing down. Because the more the breathing gets down, the more calm we are. Another very easy breathing tool to do whenever you need it. And also to try inside of the water. Just sit on your board, place your hands on your belly, on your chest, and see if you can allow the breathing to really come down only to your belly. In this video, I've given you 4 different ways on how to break the cycle of fear. Try out these ways and see how you go in the water. Let us know how the methods are working for you and which method works best. And also, if you have other methods that you use to reduce the fear in the water, definitely let us know. We'll be very happy to hear from you. For now, it's important for me to say that fear is useful because it points out to where you're losing presence, to where you're not surfing at your best anymore. Fear can help us to gain a little bit of focus. It can help us gain momentum for the maneuvers to come. But too much fear is never serving you. Surfing you. It's never surfing you in both ways. So try these ways out and know that you are in control of that present moment. You are in control of that surf session that you are experiencing right now. And it doesn't have to be the same thing as the past. Even when it happened 20 times in the past, it's roulette. It doesn't mean that it's the same right now. And it's even better than roulette because you are in control. And you can decide when you get a little bit of training and practice in these different methods and you know how to break the cycle best for yourself, you can allow the fear to just be there and not have any control over you anymore. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, subscribe to the channel, and I would love to hear from you.